But I think that we need to look at it as sort of a force multiplier. The fact that it can undertake a lot of mundane tasks that are time consuming so that we can spend our time on higher value things that need to be done by us, professional communicators with training and experience, things that an AI simply can't do because they don't have that experience. They also don't have the context. So if we can figure out how to use it as a personal assistant, then our value increases exponentially. And yeah, I think that communicators who don't know how to do that are going to be seen as less productive and less efficient, and will lose out to those who are getting more high value stuff done. And I think there is a lot of work that we do in the process of creation that is not creative work. What's creative about that? That's just 3 or 4 hours of research on Google and creating a table in Word or Docs. Uh, yeah, that's low value work, and to see it done in 20 seconds, so that I can start using the table for the creative work. That's where the value of this comes in. I think in our industry, in communications writ large, we have been very slow to embrace new technologies for as long as I have been following new technologies. Advertising picked up on it quickly. Of course, they had the budgets to experiment. And I think that's one of the issues that we have in the more organizational communication side of things is we're not rich with budget. But it's also the fact that we weren't feeling any pain, and it always takes pain in communication to drive change. And I think the pain in almost every instance comes from boutiques that offer those services, and clients start saying, well, I recognize that this is where my audience is going. And if you're not going to provide that service, I'll go to this little 10-person startup and have them do it. With AI, though, I think it's still being evaluated and assessed. I continue to, I just saw a headline the other day. I didn't read the article. I knew it would just make me mad. But it said Chat GPT is theft. And I don't agree. There's no database of images. There's no sampling going on. It has learned from what it has been fed. It has learned patterns. So if you see 100,000 images of a cat, regardless of whether it's a painting, an oil painting, or a watercolor, if it's a sketch or a cartoon, or a photograph, eventually you're going to figure out what the patterns are that reflect a cat. And so when you're asked to create an image of a cat, you can do that. And what these tools do is create wholly new images. If you or I go to a gallery or a museum and look at those paintings, or we sit on our couch and flip through a coffee table art book, Van Gogh or Frida Kahlo or whomever, we will be influenced by what we see. And if we're artists, it's going to show up in our art. It may not be intentional. It may be, wow, I really like how they're dealing with light. I'm going to learn from that and incorporate that into my work. So it may be intentional and it may not be, but it's going to show up in our work. And nobody is going to say, hey, wait a minute, you looked at my art and it influenced the way you do that. That's an IP violation. Right. That is exactly how neural networks learn. The only difference being that they can't get up and go to a gallery or a museum. So that stuff has to be brought to them. But other than that, the process is the same. So is it theft when you and I can go read a document on Google and take some notes, and then when you're writing an article, you can take those notes and use them as a basis for something that you're conveying in the article? Is that IP theft? And if it's not, why is it different when ChatGPT does it?